I can't wait for this 2020 season to get underway. I can't wait for the NFL season this year. And there's one reason why I'm excited, why I'm absolutely pumped to watch the NFL this season. And that is because everybody, and I mean basically everyone, again is doubting the New England Patriots. Everyone again is doubting Bill Belichick and now Cam Newton. There's no fancy edits in this video. I'm just going to go straight one-on-one with the Patriot haters here. You're once again underrating the Patriots. You're once again overlooking the Patriots. You would have thought that you would have learned by now. I mean, how many years in a row does Bill Belichick need to elevate his roster for you to get it through your skull that this team will compete every season as long as he is the coach? Do we recognize who is also still on this roster? This roster does have the Defensive Player of the Year in Stephon Gilmore. And do we recognize the offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels? Do we recognize that this still is a Bill Belichick Patriot roster? Yes, Tom Brady is gone. It's a new era in New England. But that doesn't mean that the winning ways are going to go away anytime soon, because the Patriots have brought in a former MVP, a player at his peak that was one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen in the sport of football in Cam Newton. You know what's happened with these Patriot haters out there? They wanted so bad for the Patriots to suck that when Tom Brady said goodbye to Patriot Nation and he left New England and he went on to Tampa Bay, that they thought in their minds that there was a chance, maybe just a little chance, that the New England Patriots would have a down year, a bad year in 2020, and that officially they could say goodbye to the Patriot dynasty. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is not going anywhere, because in 2020, the Patriots are going to be good again because they brought in a fantastic athlete at the quarterback position, and they did replace Tom Brady. But the thing is here, they wanted so bad for them to suck that they're sticking by that claim. They are literally saying, these haters out there, that the New England Patriots, and I have the comments to prove it, that the Patriots are the same team with Jarrett Stidham as they would be with Cam Newton. That the record will not change if they were to start a player, a quarterback who was drafted in the 4th round, a quarterback who has not played a meaningful snap in the NFL yet in Jarrett Stidham. That somehow would mean that they are the same team with the same record, the same promise, the same potential in 2020 as a team with a former MVP, first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, Cam Newton. How is that even possible? How is that even possible for anyone to say? I really don't know. These are the same people that used to say Tom Brady is overrated. Tom Brady is a system quarterback. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick went 11-5 with Matt Castle. These are the same people that used to say these things. And yet Tom Brady is gone, and somehow they're saying that without Tom Brady, the Patriots will be no good. So you gotta pick a narrative. You gotta pick a side. At least if you're a hater, be a smart hater. Be an intelligent hater. Pick a narrative. Okay, is it Tom Brady or is it Bill Belichick? Most people realize, the smart people out there realize it was a little bit of both. But if you're gonna hate, pick the right avenue. Okay? Stick by it and know your facts. Okay? 11-5 with Matt Castle, or Tom Brady is the GOAT, so he left, so the Patriots are no longer good. Pick one. Okay? Keep counting out Cam Newton, because when you count out Cam Newton, when you count out Bill Belichick, that is when these guys thrive. These guys are super competitive, And whenever Cam Newton has been counted out, that's when he's bounced back with his best, biggest seasons in his football career. Not just in the NFL, in college football, wherever it was, at any time, at any moment, Cam Newton always bounces back when people doubt him. He even said himself, this contract is not about the money. This contract is about the respect. He has something to prove. He has something to prove to you haters out there. He has something to prove to the NFL. He has something to prove to his former teammates, coaches, and the Carolina Panthers that this guy can still play at an MVP level. And you don't think that it's not just Cam Newton that has something to prove, but it's also the players on the Patriots organization from Robert Kraft down. Robert Kraft wants to prove that he truly is this great owner in the NFL and that he has built this amazing franchise from the bottom up because the Patriots were nothing before Robert Kraft. And then Bill Belichick wants to prove that it wasn't just Tom Brady that he rode to the 6 Super Bowls and the championships and all of that. He wants to prove that it was more him than it was Tom Brady, that the Patriot way was because of Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels wants to prove that he is just no Robin to the Batman of Tom Brady. He wants to prove that his offense works with any quarterback. And then the Patriot players really need to prove something. You don't think Devin McCourty has something to prove? You don't think Patrick Chung has a chip on his shoulder? You don't think Stephon Gilmore and this defense has something to prove? You don't think that they've heard that they only won championships, they've only been successful because of Tom Brady? You don't think Julian Edelman, who's been called a system wide receiver, has something to prove? You don't think James White, who's called a system running back, has something to prove? You could just go down the list. Go down the list of the roster. Keep them going. They all have something to prove. The Patriots this year are going to go into the season as the underdog, something that they haven't done in a long time. And I think that's scary for you guys. I think that's scary for the NFL. And one thing I would like to say about Cam Newton is, yes, you count out Cam Newton, but there is a reason that I'm high on Cam Newton, and that's because the NFL players respect him more than most. In his NFL career, since being drafted, Cam Newton, every season of his career, has been voted to the NFL Top 100 list, voted on by the players. And the reason that is because they understand the impact that he has on the field. They understand his talent more than a fan base that just strictly looks at Pro Football Reference and looks at the completion percentage. They understand what his skill set brings to an offense and how difficult it can be to defend. Did you know that Cam Newton has been an MVP more recently than Aaron Rodgers? He has been to the Super Bowl more recently than a Russell Wilson, and yet when we go down the MVP list, when we go down the starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl list of recent seasons, we're not counting out any of those guys. We're counting out a 31-year-old Cam Newton who's won an MVP more recently than Aaron Rodgers, been to the Super Bowl more recently than Russell Wilson, and we're counting him out for some reason. We're not counting out Russell Wilson. We're not counting out Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. We're not even counting out a Matt Ryan. But for some reason, we're counting out Cam Newton. And I understand he's had these injuries, but we've seen players come back from far worse. And we're going to say that he's not an upgrade from Jarrett Stidham. That's absolutely disgusting to me. That's blasphemy, bro. What are you talking about? You're out of your mind to me. And are we going to act like Tom Brady was the same Tom Brady in 2019 that he's been for the course of his career? I mean, I love Tom Brady more than anyone. He's my favorite player, always will be my favorite player. He is the greatest of all time. But in 2019, he was not the GOAT. He was a serviceable quarterback, managed the game, made the plays when he needed to make them. He protected the football. But let's not act that the Patriots won games because of the greatness of Tom Brady. That simply was not the case. This team won games because of their defense, the number one defense in the league, their special teams, field position, coaching. They won games really without their quarterback being special. And now they have the opportunity with a quarterback who does have special qualities and can be special when healthy, is a top 10 quarterback when healthy, and for some reason, we're counting them out. We're counting out a Bill Belichick who, again, went 11-5 with Matt Castle, but it's not just Matt Castle, but 14-6 since Tom Brady has been the starting quarterback in New England. That includes victories with Jacoby Brissett, victories with Jimmy Garoppolo. This guy has found ways to win. In the 2001 season, he won the AFC Championship game with Drew Bledsoe coming off an injury, replacing a Tom Brady who was injured. Bill Belichick can coach in a multitude of different ways. He can coach a multitude of different schemes, and he can beat you any which way because he's the most adaptable mind in football history. Do you know who led the Cleveland Browns to their last playoff victory? Yeah, the answer is Bill Belichick. In 1994, ironically, Bill Belichick did beat the Patriots in a playoff game. That's the last time the Browns won a playoff game. And you think that he can win a playoff game with the Browns, but he can't win one with the Cam Newton Patriots after a team that just went 12-4 last year? 7 teams make the playoffs in each conference. In the AFC, 7 teams make the playoffs. In the NFC, 7 teams make the playoffs. So let's evaluate the AFC for a second. Can we truthfully say that there are 7 teams better than the New England Patriots in the AFC? Let's count them down, shall we? So there's the Kansas City Chiefs who won the Super Bowl. That's fair enough. They are one of the best teams in the league. The Baltimore Ravens, who were the first seed in the AFC a season ago, expected to have another great season with the additions they've made. Okay, cool. They are both better than the Patriots on paper. Who else? Who else can we truthfully say that if money was on the line, we would bet them over the New England Patriots, a team coached by Bill Belichick? Who else? The Steelers are in the same situation that New England is, counting on a injured quarterback, and New England's quarterback is younger. The Cleveland Browns, I mean, a lot of people are high on them, but can we really trust Baker, and can we really trust this coaching staff? I'll take Cam Newton and Bill Belichick over that combo. And then you look at Phillip Rivers and the Colts. I mean, a lot of people are high on them too, buying the hype there. And personally, I like the Colts this year, but I'm not going to pick them, especially a Phillip Rivers who his arm is deteriorating. He's not nearly the same quarterback he was in his prime. Do I have to remind you that this was a team last year that really without an offense beat the Bills in 2 games? They swept the Bills. And the Bills, supposedly, for a lot of you, are far superior to the New England Patriots this year. Far superior. Not even close. Not even discussion. Yet, the Patriots beat you in 2 games last year. And Josh Allen has not beat the Patriots. Sean McDermott has not yet beat the Patriots and Bill Belichick. And we are going to say that they're going to win the AFC East this year. Okay. I mean, I think it comes down to the head-to-head matchups there. I think it's fairly close. And whoever wins those head-to-head matchups, I think will win the division. And as we've seen in this history, the Bills have not yet beat the Patriots under McDermott. The last time the Bills beat the Patriots was under Rex Ryan versus Jacoby rookie Brissett. That was the last time they beat them. So we're just going to say, oh, the Bills. And last year, it's not like the Bills had a very tough schedule. It was actually easier than New England's last year. And we're just going to talk about how easy New England's schedule was last year and how tough it is this year. Well, the Bills also have to step it up because now they have a playoff schedule. Now they have a big boy schedule, not like the 2019 season. And the funny thing I hear, and I think the difference for a lot of people between the Bills and the Patriots, is the receivers, the talent on offense, the big names, the Stephon Diggs. John Brown had a great season last year. And everyone keeps telling me that the Patriots receivers can't separate. They suck. They're terrible. Do I have to remind you that they were all hurt? I mean, do you understand how hard it is to play with a broken ankle if you're Mohamed Sanu? Do you understand how hard it is to play with multiple injuries with your body beat up like Julian Edelman? Do I have to remind you that N'Keal Harry did not play in his rookie year until halfway through the season, trying to catch up with a quarterback that's all about the details in Tom Brady. It was very hard to succeed if you're N'Keal Harry last year. Now he has a full training camp going into this season. Which AFC teams are actually relevant with good receivers? How many AFC teams actually have good receivers? And we're going to say that this is the reason New England won't make it. The Chiefs have good receivers. The Texans made the playoffs last year. They had good receivers, and they still do, in my opinion. But the Titans don't have great receivers. I mean, A.J. Brown's a promising young player, but outside of him, they don't have much. The Bills didn't really have good receivers last year. John Brown and Cole Beasley, they're all right. I mean, nothing special to me. Baltimore certainly does not have good receivers. So outside of the Chiefs, that we believe will make the playoffs this year in the AFC, who has good receivers? The Steelers don't really have good receivers anymore. Kind of average to me. Yet we're trusting those offenses and those teams and those quarterbacks over Cam Newton, who's never had good receivers and has found success without good receivers. He literally went 15-1, literally won an MVP with these receivers. Ted Ginn Jr. was his number one receiver, who's never been a number one receiver in his career outside of that season. Philly Brown, you might remember him. And very, very, very old on his last legs, Jericho Cotchery. Those were his receivers in his MVP campaign. And let's just say, okay, Cam maybe is not that player anymore. But in 2017, maybe he's closer to that version of Cam Newton. In 2017, the Panthers receivers consisted of Devin Funchess, who's now a journeyman receiver trying to find his way on the Packers. Kalen Clay, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. Brenton Burson, who's a special teams player, and Russell Shepard. Are we kidding? Those guys are better than Julian Edelman, who's the second best playoff receiver of all time. Mohamed Sanu. Better than him? Better than a first round talent in N'Keal Harry? I don't know about that, man. And this is the thing that I think most people are missing, is the way that Cam fits in the New England offense. How much promise this offense has in 2020. The offense is actually better suited right now in New England for Cam Newton and his skills than Tom Brady and his skill set, especially at 43 years old. The 2020 Patriots, thanks to Cam Newton, will be a more multiple offense. There'll be a more dynamic offense, which is needed with these skill players. If you do believe that the skill players in New England are not good, which is fair. I mean, we have not seen it yet. It will be better with Cam because Cam's a guy who can extend the play. He can allow these receivers time to separate. He changes the way a defense defends you, and he makes your running game a lot better because he's a threat in the running game. He will be a threat in the running game, and he makes your red zone offense, an offense in the red zone that was 26th in 2019, much, 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 much better because he is the greatest red zone weapon of this generation. And it's not even a discussion. Most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in NFL history by 13 over Steve Young. Defenses will need to account for Cam Newton's legs in this offense, whether that's a design run, on play action, on a boot outside the pocket, or it's in the normal passing game on a third down. Defenses are now going to have to send spies on the field to account for Cam Newton. One guy always watching Cam to make sure he doesn't escape and run, or contains, so that's going to lessen the pass rush with an already good offensive line. That's going to allow Cam to survey the field and pick apart defenses. And they're going to have to change from man press that gave New England a lot of issues in their wide receivers because they can't separate to zone coverage. Zone coverage that versus Edelman and Sanu and these receivers that are very smart and can find the holes in the zone. That's going to be perfect for New England's receivers and offense. McDaniels can pick apart zone all day with his play calls. You can't play a lot of man versus Cam because they're going to find ways to beat you with Cam's legs. If you're not looking at Cam, if you don't have a spy, if you don't have contains out there, Cam's going to break the pocket and make a play with his legs. You have to play a certain amount of zone coverage versus Cam and the Patriots now because of that threat. Unlike a 43-year-old Tom Brady, where you could just send the house and not worry about anything else. Now you're going to have all these different design runs. You're going to see an innovative New England offense, something we haven't seen in quite some time. New England actually throwing people off balance with what they do offensively. They're going to have a dynamic rushing attack. I'm telling you, man. Cam Newton in this similar offense with Norv Turner, 67.9 completion percentage for you stat freaks out there. I think the thing that people actually aren't realizing about the Patriots receivers and offense last year is how much the receiver depth chart changed week by week throughout the season. 1 week there was Antonio Brown in the lineup. 1 week he was gone. Then Josh Gordon's in the lineup, and then he's gone. Philip Dorsett is gone, who constantly ran the wrong routes. Now they will have a more stable, consistent, and chemistry-fueled offense, because they won't have to deal with players going in and out of the lineup as often. And Cam will be able to build this chemistry, and the offense will be able to build a chemistry, and these receivers will be able to actually have a handle of an offense instead of just being thrown out there and asked to make a play. Like last year, where Brady and his receivers, they had no timing down. They were off, they were out of sync because they didn't have that practice time. But now that's not going to be the case this year. And really, Sanu and Harry, they fit the mold at wide receiver for Cam better than with Brady. Brady needs quick, small receivers more often than not. He can thrive with other guys, but last year, a guy like Sanu, a guy like Harry, they may actually be better with Cam because Cam does take those opportunities on one-on-one jump balls to allow them to make a play. This offense will actually have a fullback this year. James Devlin went on IR last year, hurt the offense significantly, hindered the offense significantly. Dan Vitale was brought in. They drafted a Dalton Keene at tight end who can play a little bit of H-back, a little bit of tight end. You can move him around as a hybrid blocker. They also drafted 2 tight ends to help this position, the weakest tight end position in the league last year. It can't be worse. The receivers can't be worse. It will only be better. The running back position is extremely deep. And honestly, I don't think Sony Michel can play worse than he did last year. This offensive line is going to be better because of David Andrews. Tell me where they're regressing on offense. It's really not possible. It just isn't. Given all the things that happened last year, they are not going to have a middle linebacker playing fullback this year. They're not going to have a Landon Roberts playing fullback this year, running fullback dives on 3rd and 1. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. And then when you get to the defensive side of the football, man, people are sleeping on this defense again. I told you going in 2019, they were going to be the best defense. I told you they were going to be elite. I told you the secondary, all this jazz. And people are like, no, they're overhyping them. Patriots defense not good. But like, man, come on. Just look at it. I know that they lost some players. I know they lost Jamie Collins. I know they lost Kyle Vinoy. I know they lost Landon Roberts. I know they lost Danny Shelton. Okay, they lost some players. Cool. But you're acting like they didn't add anyone. I actually believe that this defense is going to be better versus the pass. They're actually more athletic than they were last year. That's a scary thought. And I think they're actually more capable of defending the top teams in the AFC. They're more capable of defending Baltimore. They're more capable of defending Kansas City. And that is exactly what Bill Belichick is building for. He doesn't care about the Jags of the world. He doesn't care about the Jets. He cares about the Chiefs and the Ravens. He cares about beating them come playoff time. And he's built a team, a defense to beat Lamar Jackson, to beat Patrick Mahomes. The strength of their defense, once again, is the secondary. The secondary is what allows everything else to run. Sure, they do not have a premier pass rusher on the edge. They do not need one. Their scheme does not dictate that they need one because of how good and great and phenomenal their secondary is and how much deep talent and depth they have at this position at corner and safety. And you're acting like players are not going to elevate. They're not going to get better, or they're just not going to get more snaps. I mean, Chase Winovich is going to play more because Kyle Vanoy is gone. He's going to play more. He was very effective last year as a rookie. Jawan Bentley is a promising young linebacker. He's going to play more because Landon Roberts, Jamie Collins are gone. Dietrich Wise, John Simon, these guys are going to play more. And they're good, capable players in the NFL. This team, this defense was just very deep at linebacker last year. They added Bo Allen to replace Danny Shelton, who was actually play-by-play just as good, if not better than Shelton last year. And he was on the number 1 run D last year. They drafted Uche out of Michigan, who's extremely athletic, kind of like a Jamie Collins. He can play edge. He can play linebacker. He is a versatile athlete. Yes, he's a rookie, but he's going to play some snaps. And then you look at Jennings from Alabama. He's going to play some snaps at linebacker. And then you look at Brandon Copeland, who had 5 sacks 2 seasons ago from the Jets. He's probably a core special teamer, but if you need to throw him in there, he did have 5 sacks, so you can throw him in there too. So to me, they added some players, and that's not even the best part. I mean, you can move Dante Hightower around to the edge position now, and Atlanta fans know how good he is at pass rushing. You can move him to the edge if you like, because now you have Adrian Phillips, who they signed from the Chargers, who can play linebacker as a hybrid safety. You added Kyle Duggar in the draft, who's a freak physically, who could play in the box or could play deep. He could do a lot of different things as a young safety. Now, Devin McCourty replaces Daron Harmon. You put Jason McCourty in Devin's old spot, and Patrick Chung is free to roam as the box safety, strong safety, or linebacker in the box. I mean, this team goes 6 deep at safety. This team goes 5 deep at corner. This team is extremely deep at the secondary level. And that's what you need on defense in today's day and age. And the most underrated aspect of the Patriots is not their defense, it's not their offense, it's not their coaching even. It is their leadership. This team is extremely mentally tough. This team has great experience and great leaders. From Julian Edelman to Devin McCourty to Jason McCourty to Dante Hightower to Matthew Slater to Patrick Chung and yes, now Cam Newton. This team has a lot of leaders. This team is going to be ready to go. They're going to be motivated. They have a chip on their shoulder. They hear your comments. They hear your tweets. They hear your Insta posts. They hear all of it. They hear the media. Bulletin board material. That's what it is. Don't ever underestimate the Pats. This is your warning. I'm giving you the warning. I'm just letting you know. See you in January.